Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gable.
And my name is Jacob Orts, guys. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 27. If this is your first time joining us for the Untapped Podcast, first of all, thank you for choosing us. We are thrilled to have you here with us. We've actually got 5 main formats of our show. So first, we have Forging Fortitude episodes. In these episodes, we cover the mental side of our brand, okay? We go over our anecdotal experiences with mindset and mentality. We then pass on advice to you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, we have physical vitality. This is what we have today for you. In these episodes, we really get to showcase our expertise. In these ones, we cover everything to do with the physical side of our brand. We cover supplements, fitness, nutrition, diet, workouts, the gym, fitness programs like 75 Hard. Sometimes we will even find things that are trending within the fitness industry, articles, topics, whatever. We pull those, we talk about them, we give our thoughts and opinions on them.
Absolutely. By the way, guys, on those episodes, I'm going to mention this a lot. They're going to be really heavy on free games. Since it is our expertise, we're going to give out a lot of free information, including today, for that matter, so you guys can use that in your own workouts, in your own nutrition, etc. Now, our third format is our breaking news format. The breaking news format is a current event-based format. That is when we go over articles that are related to current events daily. Our last one was over Travis Swift, right? Or no.
Taylor Kelsey.
Basically, yeah, Taylor Kelsey. So we like to break down current events. Now, we laugh a lot during those episodes because we don't like to take things.
Pfizer.
Yeah, Mr. Pfizer. Yeah, that's a key one. Shout out Aaron Rodgers for that. But we laugh during those episodes, guys, because we can't just be black-pilled sad about all the current events going on in the world all the time. It's important to break them down and go over the topics, but it shouldn't consume your life. Now, our fourth format is our Knights Table format. That is a masculinity-based format. Keep in mind, I'm 25, Orts is 25, Mitch is 23. Because of that reason, we are not coming to you as perfect men. The only perfect man ever was Christ. So, off that topic, we're not on a high horse. We're not coming to you saying this is what you have to do as a man. But we're encouraging masculinity to come back in full force because of how important it is to the world. Our fifth format is our guest format. Now, that is when we sit down with somebody that is a fitness professional, entrepreneur, somebody that brings you value in some way, could have a great story as well. We learn a lot from those episodes. You guys are going to learn a lot from those episodes. They're phenomenal. We're going to have some big ones coming up here soon. Now, our last thing to introduce is our producer and my brother, Mitchell Gable.
Hey, what's going on?
Nice Meal Team 6 hat over there. Hey?
I actually prefer Gravy Team 6. That's kind of what I look like.
I think he turns into an NPC whenever
that's probably his goal.
We introduce him.
Yeah.
Like those
non-playable character, for those of you who don't know what that is.
Like those people on TikTok, you know?
Oh, yeah.
They're like fake NPC themselves or whatever.
And apparently they're making dough off of lives.
It's freaking weird, though.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they'll come across my suggested lives, and you kind of get sucked in because it's so weird.
Yeah. I'll literally tap on it, and I'll watch for 5 seconds, and I'm like, then I push, and I'm like, not interested. Don't ever show me this again.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet somehow they always get shown to me again.
Because it's kind of creepy too. Actually, not kind of. It is creepy.
It is definitely creepy. Yeah, it's also like, why is that your career choice?
Yeah,
on TikTok, you could have made all this valuable content on the internet. Instead, you act like an NPC. And thank you for the roses.
Yeah.
What?
Weird.
Super weird.
So, how about it? Tell them about it.
About what?
Yeah, you know.
Put me on the spot about what?
I don't know. What is it?
Oh, my gosh. Well, my sciatic nerve's acting up again. You know, if that's where we're going with that. That's.
I had absolutely nothing to say there. I just wanted to catch you off guard.
You know, makes sense. It caught me off guard because I was like, yeah. That thing, Worts. Yeah, for sure, dude.
Mitch, what you got there, huh?
That thing. That's what it is. No, I'm an NPC because I'm too high of a level. You have to unlock me. I'm grayed out.
God,
that makes sense.
He really is so egotistical. You know, he really thinks he's that far above us.
Yeah. We put him on camera and his ego just went through the roof.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, he
all
clearly,
right, Jamie. Yeah.
clearly believes that he should be the main star of this show.
Maybe you should.
We discussed me replacing your spot.
Yeah. I really would be curious how that would go with you producing.
Bro,
and whatnot.
I'd be pressing all the buttons over there, making you guys sound funny.
Like that, yeah. All the crazy ad libs and stuff like that. They'd be like, "What? What is this podcast? Like, come on! Why am I just hearing sounds the whole time?"
It's so ridiculous. Well, anyway, guys, like we mentioned, we have a physical vitality episode for you. And like Gable mentioned too in the intro, this is going to be one where we're going to give you guys basically what we believe to be the bare minimum fitness standards for both men and women. So as far as free game, there's going to be quite a bit of it here because what we believe to be the bare minimum, the standard, like the minimum standard for what both men and women should be able to do. We're going to give that out here.
Yeah.
It's kind of our opinions on this. It's not too different though from anything that NASM would say or any college degree
high level
program
coach would say.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
It is basic level stuff, but guys, it gives you something to start.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Strive towards, work towards, yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you're in the trained population, as we've talked about before in these episodes, and that just means that you've been in the gym, you've been into fitness. I believe the technical amount of time is six plus months.
Yeah, that's usually what it is.
But just for anyone that is consistently doing something fitness related, walking, running in the gym, I hate to say this, but doing CrossFit, I know.
That hurts so bad.
Dude, I know.
Gosh,
I hated saying that.
Yeah, and of course Nate at First Form, now he's on the CrossFit trend. I had to give him crap for that.
It's just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a really disappointing turn of
It
events.
is. He was a good guy.
Yeah, he was a really good quality character type of guy, but then he went into CrossFit.
Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about someone when they end up doing CrossFit.
Yeah. It's like, well, maybe I shouldn't have trusted this person.
Yeah, right. I mean, clearly there's someone that gets jabbed and believes in Pfizer and, voted for Biden.
Loves Darth Schwab.
Yeah, loves Darth Schwab. Yeah, for sure. But, anyway. So again, if you're someone that's in the trained population, you better be able to do the things that we're about to discuss.
Right.
Like, easily, too. Regardless of the style of training you do. Now, for those of you that are maybe just starting, or maybe you're getting back into it, or whatever, these are things to strive towards and to work towards. Be like, okay, these need to be my minimum. Like, I need to be able to do this at the drop of a hat. If I need to run, for you men, the first one is running an 8-minute mile.
Yeah.
Okay. That might sound daunting for someone that doesn't run, but the more and more you run, the closer and closer you're going to be able to get to that.
Yeah, and you'll notice you get there really quickly.
Absolutely.
To an 8-minute mile, if you're actually training, it's not really hard to get there.
It really isn't, and it's not as fast as what you think.
That's why we're even bringing this checklist into play, because it's not something that's super rigid, so to speak. Like an 8-minute mile isn't asking the world of somebody.
Right.
It really is.
Right.
As we found out with our running we've done.
Absolutely.
Lacking on it lately, but
without a doubt, it's been quite some time since I've run. But I've actually rucked several times here in the past couple of weeks.
Which rucking actually aids a lot in running, because you can take the impact a little bit better from on your lower body as well.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah. And you mentioned checklists, and this was actually something all three of us were talking about. Obviously, we just did a Knights Table episode not too long ago, talking about how being a man doesn't have to be this checklist type thing. Like, oh, okay, I've only crossed off 3 of the 4 things. I guess I'm not really a man. In that episode, we clarified to where you just need to start with being a good person, having good morals, good values, and all of the manosphere guys, like, you don't have to follow these checklists, that some of them give out. Now, you can use them as a guide, and that's what we really, really emphasize with those guys, because that's how we use them, In this episode here, we wanted to give you guys a baseline, basic standard to shoot for. So just because maybe you can only do 2 of the 3 that we're about to name doesn't mean that you're not a fit person.
Exactly.
However, work towards being able to knock out all 3 of these things, both men and women.
Yeah.
So there is a difference. Obviously, in that episode, we said, don't make it a checklist. Now we are giving you a checklist. So we're not contradicting ourselves, because it's 2 different types of topics.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. Well, and so guys, we'll go over the man first, the men's standards first. And like Ward said, 8-minute miles.
So much for ladies first. I mean, come on, dude.
I'm an asshole. I'm a misogynist. I thought we discussed this already, but but that's all right. So Ward's mentioned an 8-minute mile. Now, again, really when you get into running, you'll realize this is not extremely difficult, because there's a difference with sprints and running and jogging. Like, there's a complete difference.
Yeah.
Sprints are going to be hard for pretty much anybody. But an 8-minute mile and Nick Bear made a great point about this on a podcast I was listening to about running technique. And he was discussing how really moving your feet and not necessarily your entire stride length is not the most important thing when it comes to running. And moving your feet quickly, which you and I, when we ran at the high school track near us, we did like 3 miles, and we did it at an 8:20 pace, for example, for that 3 miles or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was really just us continuously moving our feet. It wasn't about we were using our longest strides possible because we're
Right.
2 tall guys. Like that didn't come into play with
No.
us. It was just about next step in front, next step in front. That's what the 8-minute miles come down to.
Yeah.
And it's not a particularly difficult thing to strive for, especially if you are a cardiovascular if human being.
Yeah.
If your cardiovascular health is solid, this should be something that you should be able to hit.
Right. But for those of you that don't have that base cardiovascular fitness level, high or even just, there,
Yeah.
for lack of a better
The
word
ability
there.
yeah.
For those of you that are maybe just starting, that sounds like it's a sprint for a mile. I promise you it's not. You're moving an 8-minute pace, like you're moving, but
it's
you're not
good wheels.
moving.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, and you said just one step in front of the other. Like that's exactly how I think when I'm running. Whether it's 1 mile, 3 miles, the most I've ever run is 6. It's just literally over and over and over again in my head. I'm keep going,
Yep.
keep going, keep going,
Yep.
keep going. And then you're like, oh wow, I've gone 3 miles.
One thing I did on the 2 half marathons I've ran is I gave myself like 300-foot like benchmarks to hit. So like basically I would look, okay, if I can see this 300 foot in front of me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit that at a pretty good pace.
Right.
300 feet.
Yeah.
Hit that at a pretty good
Like
pace.
you pick something, that
Exactly.
fence post, I'm going to run to that. That tree, that sign, that stop sign, or that road, or whatever.
Exactly.
And you keep finding a new one.
Yes. So that really shortened it in my head.
Yeah.
Because at first I was terrified
Right.
to run a half marathon. Absolutely
Yeah.
terrified. I was hurting after for sure, but what it came down to is purely just like we've been saying. It's just 1 foot after another. And it ends up being you just telling yourself lies a lot of the times on that longer distance. Now on a mile, it's
go.
like it's just
Go
go.
time.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
You can just go. And the thing is, a mile, especially at 8 minutes, that's not a long time.
No.
If you really think about it, 8 minutes flies by in real life.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's going out of style.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not going to end up being that fast. Now, is it going to be the first time you do it? It's going to be tough. Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
It'll be a little bit daunting, like Court said. It'll be scary. But a lot of times what people who are training for marathons do, what ultra marathoners do, what in general, like consistent runners do, what they'll do is they'll have like 2 days a week they run that are maybe a little bit of a tougher day sometimes, or even like 1 tougher day and then 2 lighter days sometimes. And that lighter day could be for them, usually let's say their fast pace is usually they do 5 miles at an 8:30 pace or something like that. Maybe those light days are a 9:30 to a 10-minute pace on those 2 other days.
Right.
So they have a fast day, and you'll notice these guys' miles times and their consistent paces drop by like 5 seconds each time they do this.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you haven't been running before, you're going to notice a massive drop off the first like few weeks you do this.
Yeah, because
in
they
your
also
time.
do a lot of interval runs as well.
Yes.
So you're going fast, you're going slow, you're going fast, you're going slow, and
Exactly.
so on and whatnot.
So this is something you just break down in your head. You give yourself little checkpoints. Honestly, one other trick that I do, JT's half marathons, what's great about them is that we do them at this local park in Missouri. That is, the half marathon ends up being 3.5 laps.
Around the
which
lake.
ends up, it feels like it's shorter. Because if you think about it, like high school track for a mile is 4 laps.
Yeah.
Right? So that feels like a lot in your head because you're doing 4 laps, but instead on the half marathon, you're doing 3.5.
Right.
So it shortens it in your mind. That first mile you ever do, maybe you just run in a straight line for a mile and you set a target for that. Because that's 1 lap, one lap in your head that you're telling yourself. So again, it's a lot of mental tricks is what it comes down to. Because again, if you're training at some level 3-4 plus days a week, this is not going to be a difficult benchmark for you to hit.
No.
I mean, again, Warts and I hadn't ran since literally high school before we started running. In this year, basically.
Not on purpose, anyway.
No, not on purpose, that's for sure. But our times and our paces went down drastically on our runs because we're just like, oh, this isn't bad.
No, it's not.
And you learned after a month or 2 of it, it's like, oh, I can just chop seconds off my pace without really any specific effort toward it a lot of times.
Well, what's kind of funny to me too, whenever any of us are on 75 hard, obviously we ruck a lot, for the outdoor workouts, if not damn near every day.
A lot of times, yeah.
And personally, it's probably my favorite mode of cardio. I've since you and I have started rucking, I'm like, I really like this. I really
awesome.
enjoy this. Yeah.
We've always had an aberration for like special forces too, so like,
Sure.
that's part of the reason as well. When it comes for
Feels
at least on
badass,
at least
putting
my
the,
end, yeah,
the vest on and stuff.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always funny the looks you get. People driving by or that walk by.
They
Most
think you're
people
wearing like
don't.
a plate carrier. Or
Yeah,
something.
right. But
Yeah.
they're kind of like, do
Do you have magazines in
going
there?
to
Like
battle or like what's going on? But what's funny to me is, for 75 hard, it's got to be 45 minutes, and I have this route that I always do. I call it the STL route because it's 3.14 miles. For those of you that don't know, the area code for St. Louis is 314.
rep.
Yeah, right. So, and that was unintentional. I just kept doing it, and I realized I'm like, this is 3.14 miles. I should call this the
That's
STL
kinda
route.
cool. Yeah.
And so that takes, about 45 minutes. Now, as I get further into 75, my ruck pace drops dramatically as well.
Dude,
so sometimes
yeah,
I got to
you
add more.
cook
I do,
on
yeah.
that,
And I pride myself in that. I also notice when I don't ruck how much slower I get.
Mhm.
Anyway, it takes about 45 minutes to do that 3.14 miles. But what's funny is I'll go run 3 miles and it won't even take a half hour. So, you guys might be sitting there. It's like, oh, I've only got a half hour. Like I can't get any, I can't get a workout in today. Bull, go run 2 or 3 miles. Once you get to this point of being able to run an 8-minute or lower mile, start to push yourselves. Go 1.5 miles next time. Go 2 miles, go 3 miles. Before you know it, you're going to be like, I'm going to go run 5,
Exactly.
or you run 3
Exactly.
and you're like, no, I'm going to go 1 more. I'm going to go 4.
I love that. I love that point because running can really be a quick, effective workout.
100%.
Like you said, if you only have 20 to 30 minutes to get something done, you can cook through 2 to 3 miles.
Absolutely.
At even like a pretty modest pace.
Even if you have
30
20
minutes.
minutes, you could do that.
Dude, yeah.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah.
And what I recommend too, guys, is finding, it could be the same route that you do every time. Again, with the ruck route, I do the same one every time, and it never gets old for me. I'm also a very routine person.
It's also a really cool route.
It is
too.
a cool route, yeah. You get to walk through the woods for a while. You go through a town center, by roads, all this stuff. But I also recommend, at least for me, for running, I try to find cool running routes so that, I have music in, but I kind of get to a certain point where I don't really hear the music anymore. I'm just kind of going and mostly thinking to myself. But if you have cool things to look at while you're running, I think that helps a lot too, whether that's a trail run where you're fully in the woods or you're running through a cool neighborhood or, you're just kind of discovering new places.
Yeah.
I think that really helps as well.
Agreed.
But anyway, so 8-minute mile for the men. For the women, we have 9.5 to 10-minute mile.
Yep.
So not that much slower than what we have for the male side of things. There's a lot of females that could run faster than both of us.
Easily.
There's without a doubt.
Sure.
You know. But we think that that's a good spot to start for the females. A 9:30, a 10-minute mile is still not a bad pace whatsoever. I've had plenty of those paces there.
Yeah.
And I feel really good.
Yeah.
As far as that goes.
So you got to keep in mind too, guys, the reason we're separating like men and women on these standards too, the mile, the reason that is because naturally men with our anatomy can be able to handle a little bit more stress on our lower body a lot of times during running than women can. Now, the biggest gap, and you'll see this when we go over the standards for, the other two we have, is strength with men and women.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
Like basically an average man is like a woman on steroids. And a lot of times the average man, just natural man, is even higher than a woman on steroids, strength wise.
Sure.
And so that's where you're really going to notice the difference. But there is anatomy wise a natural, like for example, most men are taller. So their stride lengths are going to be a little bit different during running. So that's going to be a little bit quicker.
Right.
Their hearts for men tend to be a little bit more
efficient.
Not necessarily more efficient, but they can be developed to a higher level than females can.
Yeah.
Again, this is why special forces, you see all men in it.
Yeah.
Because they can go through and push through all these different, horrific cardio events they do in the military. And that's why they can reach those certain levels. It's just a biological difference is all it is.
Sure.
It's not something that
not opinion or anything.
Yeah, we're not opinion. We're not hating on women that, not saying you couldn't get to an 8-minute mile because as we mentioned, you definitely can.
Yeah.
It's just you might have to push a little bit more to pass this average standard.
I mean, when we were in high school, there was a girl, I want to say, so her brother was our age.
I know you're talking about, yep.
But his sister was, I want to say, 2 years older than us. And it might have been 3 of the 4 years she was in high school. She won Gatorade Athlete of the Year
she would
from Missouri.
move.
And she was a cross-country runner. Yeah, absolutely. So, like, without a doubt, it is very possible for females to get not only below 9:30 to 10, but to get 5 to 6. You know, look at the Olympians. I don't know what the average Olympian female mile is, or male for that matter.
Males are all starting to be like under 4 minutes now, which is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's terrifying.
It's insane. It's insane.
That's sprinting a mile. That's basically sprinting a mile.
It is, without a doubt, dude. But yeah, just for all those reasons you just named off, there's just a lot of biological things that come into play as far as this bare minimum.
100%.
Like you mentioned, the big differences that we see are going to be on the strength side. And we did, both of these are upper body movements. Naturally, men are going to have more strength in the upper body. It's just, again, a biological difference between male and female.
Yep.
You know, our muscles are going to develop better, and not better, bigger and stronger, and they're going to be able to be more powerful. Again, a female on roids that's on the juice might get closer, but even still, we're going to have that natural testosterone behind our strength, that natural testosterone into the power development, into the muscle size. And then if you add juice to a man, then these standards go out the window
Just
anyway.
completely go out the window.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not saying that steroids are going to automatically make you stronger, but people that do use them for strength, for power, for fitness, they're going to blow these out of the water.
Yeah, like by a mile.
Yeah. And so the first one we had is pull-ups. And for the males, we had 10 straight dead hang pull-ups. You know, arms go all the way straight. You come all the way up, chin above the bar. And then for the females, we had 1 to 3. Kind of a range there. You know, it's funny. If we were having this conversation 2 years ago, I wouldn't meet that standard there. You know?
That's true.
I was getting in shape. I was in the gym. I was a part of that trained population I mentioned earlier. You know, I was getting a very, very good fitness foundation, making good progress, looking better, feeling better, all that. But I couldn't do any pull-ups. You know, and you and I, when we did the Murph, believe that was back in 2021.
It was, yep. I actually have the shirt for it still.
Yeah, it's funny. I did actually see that.
Yeah.
You know, you probably remember me telling you, it's like, dude, I can't even do one pull-up.
I told you you're going to do it.
I can't even do one pull-up. How am I going to do 100?
Yeah.
You know? And then guess what happened?
Yep.
I did 100.
Yep.
You know, not straight or anything like that. We found a really good way to break it up, actually.
5, 10, 15, I believe we went.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Whatever it was.
There's all kinds of ways that you can break them up. I do remember that we got all the squats done a lot faster than the other two to kind of save our legs for the second mile. But, you know, so I wouldn't have met that standard, even though I was still in good shape and heading towards being in good shape. The point is, guys, I have worked on pull-ups, and I still continue to do this, working on pull-ups. Like, they're very difficult. Probably one of the harder movements, especially for those of us that are tall like we are. We got to go a long way to get up there.
Or if you're 200 plus on
or
poundage.
200 plus.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and here I am on a program now where I have to start doing muscle-ups. I've never done a muscle-up in my life. I don't know how that's going to go, but guess what?
They look so sick, though.
They do, especially the guy's program I'm following, Anthony Persson on Instagram. Like, he literally did. This pisses me off about him. He does 10-second count on the pull-up part, and then also on the muscle-up part on the way up. So that's 20 seconds total. Then 10 seconds on the way down of the muscle-up, goes into the pull-up, 10 seconds on the way down. That's one. And there's
on both concentric and eccentric portion.
Yes. So, and there's no swing. There's no momentum. It's perfect body control. Like, it is the most insane thing I've ever seen. It's so impressive.
Yeah.
You know, he's got me doing handstand push-ups and stuff. And I'm like,
you sent me.
It humbled me though. I mean, you saw how pissed I got in that video. That block got worked.
Yeah, bro.
I got so mad I threw the yoga block.
Words failed, and he just grabbed this yoga block and threw it across the gym. It was awesome. I was like, that's literally me.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're in a public gym, it's hard to do that. But if I was in Legacy with you, I'd be picking up everything, throwing it across the gym. Damn it!
The gym was lucky I didn't go over to the pitching side and just start chucking baseballs all over the place. You know, but my point is, it's like, I'm going to keep working at the handstand push-ups, and then I'm going to be doing handstands, which is crazy, you know, and it's being incorporated with strength and with functional and with plyos and stuff. Like, it's actually going to be an awesome program. I'm really excited about it, but I'm going to keep working towards those muscle ups. You know, I don't know how that's going to go. Maybe I'll be able to do them. Probably won't, because I don't know how to do the form yet, you know? So it's something you have to keep working towards,
100%.
Whether it's the mile, the pull-ups, or we're about to get to the push-ups.
Yeah, that's why we're saying this isn't some kind of harsh standard, guys.
No.
This isn't some kind of make or break and whatnot. Now, should you be getting to this as you start training? 100%.
Yeah.
You should be able to do this just naturally. And again, like I mentioned, with a lot of this, especially, I'm about 230, guys. For those of you guys that are 230 plus, or even like 210 plus, 200 plus, something like that, these are going to be tough standards for the men.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just naturally because your body weight's going to put a lot more stress on it when it's doing this. But again, I'm 230 and I can hit all these.
Yeah.
So it's like, it can be done.
Oh, without a doubt.
It definitely can be done. I mean, we know Brad Martin. I mean, he can do 260. He's 260 and he can.
Oh, we know he's 260.
Yeah. But he's 260 and he can do, I guarantee he can do also with ease.
Oh, yeah.
With ease.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Flying colors.
Watching him do pull-ups is nuts.
It's
Because it's like, it's under control. It's very smooth. And it's like, bro, he is pulling up 260.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He puts like 225 on the bench. And it looks like if we just had the bar.
You would think it was
like
the bar.
actually.
Yeah.
It is
Yes.
crazy. It's insane.
One of the more terrifying humans for sure.
Yeah, but
Like
literally such an
physical-wise.
awesome guy.
Oh, yeah.
In so many different
Yeah.
ways.
Definitely excited to meet him when the time comes.
Without a doubt.
Definitely excited to meet him.
We'll be on Raw Talk. He'll be on the Untapped podcast.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
100%.
sick.
Yeah.
Maybe at the same time.
And then we'll see who wins the street fight between us. Us three. Us two against
Us
Brad.
two against him. Yeah, right.
That's how we'd have to do it.
No, 100%.
Yeah, Mitchell and I were talking about Brock Wilson, like because we were mad at him with the program and whatnot that we were running with him, and I was like,
Fake
I was like,
mad.
I'm gonna beat Brock's ass. Like I'm so mad at him because of this program. And Mitch and I were like, dude, we'd have to go 2-on-1. Like there's no way.
It's probably going to be 3-on-1.
Yeah, like
Because I'm pissed at him too.
seriously,
'Cause I did it too.
And Brock moves 800 pounds on squat. So
Yeah.
what are we gonna do? You know,
We're
gonna,
not going to have a squatting competition, I can tell you that.
No,
Unless we get to combine our weights. Even still, though.
we get to combine our weights. True though,
Yeah.
we'd have to.
Yeah.
But guys, keep in mind too, males' bone density and joints are a lot stronger as well. So that's another thing that comes into play with these upper body movements that we're mentioning here too.
Yeah.
Especially with pull-ups. Even a 200-pound male is going to be able to handle pull-ups better than a 130-pound female would.
For sure.
Just
For sure.
naturally because our muscle, our anatomy is just completely different, and it's no hate at all. And I've seen females be able to do 5+ pull-ups
Yeah.
and whatnot. It's just a rarity. We're
Yeah.
talking about the average standards here,
Yeah.
and we think everybody can get past these average standards pretty easily. And I think you and I would both crush the 8-minute mile at this point in time
Oh,
where
yeah.
we're at now,
Yeah,
like,
I
pretty
know we
easily.
would.
Yeah.
But we've been working at it. That's
But
the point. You know, it's not
exactly.
like we can just
Yeah.
pick up running and go run an 8-minute mile.
We're not bringing these standards to you and saying you have to hit these now, otherwise you're a failure.
Right.
That is not what we're
Exactly.
saying. Now,
Exactly.
again, like we said, you should be hitting these. So work towards them.
Right.
Even if, again, it doesn't mean you have to have it in your program that you're doing miles, push-ups, pull-ups, or whatever, but those are pretty staple type movements.
Exactly. I was
Like,
going to say, like,
you know?
however, these are all body weight movements.
Exactly.
And you should be able to handle your body weight.
Exactly.
You know, notice we're not saying, okay, men, you have to be able to bench 225 10 times. Like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not 10 times anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
I can do 10
females,
times,
you got to be able to bench 185 10
Yeah.
times. Like, it would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
to do
I'm
that.
230 and I can't bench. I can't bench 225 10 times.
I bet you could.
If I was well rested, but the max I've ever gotten is 8.
Bro, I just said you have to handle your body weight. That's lower than your body weight. I mean, come on. Don't make me sound like a fraud now.
I'm weak.
Yeah.
I'm a soft human being. But our next one, guys, after the pull-ups is push-ups.
Yeah.
This is probably, other than squats, maybe, this is probably the most common exercise in the entire world, arguably.
Yeah,
I mean, you could put them up there, push-ups and squats.
And crunches.
Yeah, definitely.
Or sit-ups, yeah.
But we put 30 clean, straight push-ups for men. And then for
All the
women,
way down, all the way up.
all the way down, all the way up. Get that nose to the ground. Don't lift that butt in the air. Don't let it drop, etc.
Right,
All the things
All
that
the
come along
things.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep the core tight, whatever.
Seen some funny looking push-ups with our athletes.
Oh,
down
yeah.
at work.
Oh, yeah. Especially in high school. Like when you're first learning the form, you look like a baby giraffe that just got born
Yeah.
when you're doing exercises. I remember looking back at myself and I couldn't do shit back then. So
Like, what is going on in your mind to think that you're doing this correctly?
who told you that? Who told you this is the
But hey,
correct
that's
form?
why I have a job. Teach you how to do push-ups.
No, it's absolutely
So-
right. That's why trainers are really important. It's
Absolutely.
true. But it was 30 for men straight, and we put 10 for women. Again, that's a very achievable standard, I really think.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times what I'll find, and Wirtz, you'll definitely agree with this, is that you'll find that women train lower body. The ones that exercise and strength train in the gym, they train lower body a lot. Like
Probably a little too much at times too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've known women to train it too
100%.
much for that matter.
Yeah.
So they neglect the upper body, and then they'll be able to hip thrust 2 plates plus.
Some of them like 4 plates.
Oh yeah,
and which
Yeah.
is impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely
Like,
impressive.
damn, like I don't know if I can do that.
But then you ask them to do a push up, and they're able to do like 3 of them,
Yeah.
and that's it,
Or 0.
or 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're dumbbell benching like the 20s.
Yep.
You know, we've seen
It's true.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Right.
it's 100% true, and the importance of why we even say that women should be training upper body or should be able to hit the push up mark is, again, it's important to still have a certain amount of muscular mass in your upper body because of
yeah.
longevity. It's
Yeah.
it's going to, whenever you're a mother, it's going to help you through pregnancy if you have a lot of muscle mass and whatnot, whenever you become a mother, or if you have already are a mother, it's also going to help you long-term be able to have more fun with your kids, be able to be around longer, be able to be more functional with them longer. So,
And just something to add to this, this goes for the men too. There's a lot of men that have a big upper body, and then they got chicken legs. You know, you see them benching 225 or throwing up the hundreds on the dumbbells, and hey, that's awesome. Okay, that's impressive. That's a lot of weight. You're strong, but then you watch them do, quotes intended here, do leg day, and you see them do leg extensions, leg curls, and then they do a hack squat where they get maybe a third of the way down.
Yep. And then they don't touch any barbell squats or goblet squats or
Nothing.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything
No
that
lunges.
anything that would take you through a knee, like full knee range of motion and
Right.
everything, they don't do that.
No, none of it.
And it's
Lunges, like RDLs, nothing.
Yeah. First of all, if you want to be an athlete, you have to train lower body. You have to train both.
Yes.
So that's not even an option.
Or
for
a
men.
functional human.
Also, if you want to
saying.
be just a good looking dude, you should have big legs.
True.
That's a good goal to strive toward. I think muscular legs, athletic legs is a good thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why, like, baseball pants and whatnot, like good button baseball pants is is a big thing. Yeah, like that was always talked about.
We get that good butt. Yeah,
dude.
baseball
Dude,
butt.
that's the thing about baseball, like actual like uniforms, is they just accentuate it. It's so funny. It's like somebody planned this. Somebody had to have planned this for this to be the case.
Yeah. We're awesome.
And I would imagine probably catchers have it because they're always in a squat position. So they just have a huge ass.
Yeah.
It's just they're just jacked in their butt cheeks. It's like, hell yeah.
This dude's sus as hell.
Ally podcast. But
So
the
funny.
importance of this, guys, is Wirtz is saying you should be competent in both upper and lower body.
Yeah.
And that goes along with the standards, no matter what. Like, again, we're not talking about how many squats you should be able to do, but you should definitely be hitting lower body if you're a female and a male, but males are the ones we see a lot of times lacking in that area
100%,
compared to the women.
And listen, like, guys, I get it. We all have our favorite days that we train, favorite body parts, favorite, areas of the body. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you want to train, your back more than once a week, by all means, first of all, you should, but by all means, go ahead. If you enjoy that and that's going to get you to the gym that day, I'm never going to tell you to not do that.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you to be aware of the movements you do on your days. Back to the ladies, we have known several girls that do leg day 3 days a week, and they are hitting glutes, hammies, and quads on all 3 of those days. Yep. I'm sorry, ladies, but guess what's not going to happen? Progress. You are not giving your muscles enough time to recover and grow.
Yep.
If you continue to do that, just like you gentlemen, those of you that hit chest 7 days a week, like, bro, your chest ain't getting any bigger, Like it's just not.
Hit it on Monday, International Chest Day. Awesome.
Exactly.
Do it.
And then wait until at least Thursday to do it again.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I urge all of you, ladies, I urge you to do leg day twice a week.
Yep.
And no more. Make them intense. Okay. One day you can focus on the glutes and hammies if you want. The other day, focus on the quads.
Yeah. And again, if you guys only have 3 to 4 days a week to do this, then hit it intense on those 3 to 4 days you have it. That one day you do legs, hit it at an intense rate. Go hard.
Do the zombie walk while you're walking out of the gym.
Yeah.
That's how tired you should be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then same thing with chest, back, arms, whatever.
Yes.
If you only have one day a week to train those body parts, hit it hard.
Yes.
And you're still going to be able to get results doing that.
Without a doubt, because your muscles have that time to recover.
Exactly.
And, grow,
and honestly, as we've seen, you can still get good results in 45 minutes to an hour of a workout or less sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, people will get a lot of gains doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody, again, has time at some point in time to even add in like a walk too for
Yeah,
extra
yeah.
cardio
Yeah,
or
at lunch when you get
like
home,
we said,
whatever.
that 20
Yeah.
to 30-minute run,
Yeah.
you know, light pace, whatever
Right.
it is. You know, it's doable.
Right.
Is the point.
It's so funny to me, dude. Just last story here. I've literally seen this guy at House of Pain. He'll do chest one day. I'll see him the next day. He's doing chest again. I'm like, it's an interesting choice there, buddy. And then come back the following day. This is 3 days. Oh, what do you know? He's doing cable flies, and now he's on that chest press machine.
Dude
Like,
just loves growing his mommy milkers.
It's like it's like, dude, like you're not doing anything productive.
Right.
You know, like you're just not, like it's not how that works, you know. But anyway, so have a split, follow the split, trust the split. If you guys need help with a split, let us know. We would be more than happy to help you guys out. We have no problem giving that out. But yeah, dude, you know, I think that those are all really good standards, really good bare minimums for people to follow. You know, I don't think any of that is ridiculous, you know. And guys, if you can't do one, or maybe you can't do all three of those, start working towards them.
Yep.
You know, start working towards them. You can keep doing your stuff at the gym if you want, but you got to be able to handle the body weight. That's my biggest thing. If you can't handle your body weight, doing push-ups, pull-ups, you know, sit-ups, body weight squats, whatever, you got issues.
Right.
I don't care how much weight you can put up in the gym if you can't handle your own body. And if you can
Agreed.
handle your own body, guess what's going to happen? Your numbers in the gym are going to skyrocket because you have that base, you have that stability in your body already. You know how your body reacts to certain movements and just all of those things. So your numbers in the gym are going to just inherently go up.
Yep.
You know, that's why, like, down at work for me, we start mostly our younger athletes, but we start all of them on body weight programs. We get them really good at those body weight things. You know, we'll incorporate things like bands and, you know, a few dumbbell involved movements and stuff. But for the most part, it's a lot of core, a lot of body weight stuff like push-ups, you know, like squat jumps, things like that. You know, get that really solid base. And then guess what? By the time the weights come into play, you're good. You know?
I think that's a massive point, though, because if you have a really, really good understanding of the form of your body weight, and when you do these body weight movements, if you have the form so dialed in when you do body weight squats, push-ups, pull-ups, again, running, etc., if you have the form dialed in all these things, naturally, when you add weight, you will be like, okay, this is the form I should be maintaining when I add weight to these certain movements.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
again, if you're going to do weighted pull-ups, if you're going to do weighted dips, for example, like that would be a good progression from push-ups.
Yeah.
And just like weighted pull-ups would be a good progression from regular pull-ups.
Feet elevated push-ups is another good one.
That's another great one.
That's a really good one.
Decline push-ups are a lot of fun,
Yes.
actually, for that matter. Or like plyometric push-ups. Those are another one if you want to throw in the plyo version of them, that
Put
type
a plate
of stuff.
on your back.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you can understand.
Talk about
and,
free game there, guys.
Yeah, really. And you can understand how to protect yourself better in those scenarios when you add weight. Because, again, you got to think, for example, a guy like Brock who puts 800 pounds on his back, that puts a lot of stress on your body.
Oh, you don't say.
A ton of stress in your body. And again, at some point in time, like, okay, do you have to hit 800 pounds to be optimal as a athlete or person? No, Brock's doing that because he's challenging himself. He wants to get to that 800 pounds because he knows he can do it, which is savage on his part. So savage. But he trains to a point, just like if Orts and I are doing weighted dips, weighted pull-ups, to a point where putting yourself under that stress is not dangerous because you have the correct form during it. You're not doing it too much, like we talked about with the leg day. You're not doing chest or legs 3 days a week and whatnot.
Right.
So you're accurately programming and correctly programming these into your actual routine so they do not injure you.
Yeah.
And you're putting yourself in a position where you can instead improve and not be hurt every single time you do these movements, which is massive.
Yeah.
Again, dudes, we all know that whenever you're hanging out with your bros or you're at a party or you're just hanging out in general, like you're randomly going to bust out push-ups or you'll start wrestling or something like that or do physical things. If you can just pump out 30 push-ups easy, that's hype, bro.
Don't be the guy that can't do them. Though,
yeah.
You know?
Next thing you know, you're getting bodied by one of your buddies. You can only do 10 and your buddy's knocking out 25 like it's a cakewalk or something like that. Like, come on.
I think some of it too, guys, is you got to be able to put the ego away. You know, it's funny. Anytime I've been on a program that calls for push-ups, you know, which I see them and I'm just like, okay, like we'll do push-ups. Right. You know, I'd probably rather be doing dumbbell bench, but maybe I'm supersetting with dumbbell bench or whatever. But anyway, if the program calls for push-ups, then guess what I'm about to do? Push-ups. But it's really funny is when I'll get down on the ground and do the push-ups, I always get kind of funny looks from other people, which like first of all, focus on your own workout. Like, sorry, I'm better than you. But slob.
Cocky. I like it.
Yeah. Not actually, but
I like a little confidence. Though.
Maybe
Nothing
there's a
wrong with
baseball
that.
player coming out.
Yeah.
But
those are the baseball cheeks coming out.
yeah. All baseball players have a little bit of douchiness to them, but
Oh, so do hockey players.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
It's because we
Mitch
play the
and I-
nastiest
Mitch
sports.
and I roast people
Yeah,
during the games
we
so
play
much.
the two nastiest sports, so
Yeah.
like it's all good.
Well, yeah, the sickest, most athletic players play baseball and hockey.
100%,
So,
100%.
without a
Anyway,
doubt.
anyway, I always get the funniest looks because I'm doing push-ups, and it's just like, bro, I bet you can't do these either. You know, like I bet you can't do these.
Exactly.
You know, you see me pushing off the ground doing plyo push-ups you mentioned, which is where your hands, like you
Plyo's
push
so
so
fun.
hard, your hands come off the ground. You're basically jumping with your hands
Yeah.
or with your arms. You know, and it's like, I know you can't do this. I know you can't do diamond push-ups. You know, I'm just knocking them out right here.
Yep.
You know? So I just put the ego away. Doesn't matter what people think about you. Doesn't matter who's looking. Like, it doesn't matter. You're doing your thing for your reason, for your purpose, for your goals, and that's all that matters.
Right.
You know, I think people are a little afraid to be the guy doing push-ups in the gym.
Yeah.
You know, when that guy over there is benching 315.
Or for that matter, Brock's program is one of those that it's like, whoa, this is out of the ordinary. Or Pershins is out of the ordinary.
Oh, for
you,
sure.
You start doing broad jumps and stuff like that in the middle of the gym and whatnot. They're
Yeah.
like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
What
Is
is
that
this
guy
guy doing?
okay?
Is
Yeah.
he training for the pros right now?
Yeah, right.
It's like, well, yeah. But yeah.
Or,
Also,
you know,
yes.
like
But
Brock, you do a ton, and I mean a ton, of rear foot elevated split squats. You know,
those, dude.
or you do safety bar reverse lunges, front foot elevated reverse lunges.
Yep.
You know,
Zercher.
yeah, Zercher squats and Zercher reverse. You know,
Zercher looks so weird.
you know,
It does.
ridiculous movements.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yep, sorry, I'm better than you. You know,
Sorry, I look sick when I do this.
literally.
movement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Zerchers just look like badass.
That's
You're here.
Yeah.
The bar just hold.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on.
I love
Come
the
on.
safety bar reverse lunges too because, you know, most safety bars are either 60, 65, or 70 pounds. For those of you that maybe didn't know that, because a lot of people think they're
Yeah,
45.
safety bars are meaty.
They are not.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you got two plates on each side. You're elevating your front foot, just knocking out reverse lunges, dying. And like you see people, you rack it, you turn around, and you see people looking at you because it's just like, what is that guy doing? But like, that's also kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know?
This guy's knee flexion is unbelievable.
Exactly. It's like, no, you can go back to your, you know, your body weight squats that you
Yeah.
go.
Sorry,
I'm
my
your-
quads are popping out of my shorts right now.
Your quad pump is real. You know, you can go back to your back squats where you're getting a third of the way down, but hey, it's all good. You're better than me.
Pull to LeBron.
Yeah.
Again, LeBron's probably doing that purposely when he was doing that like half squat and whatnot for you know vertical development. But
Sure.
it was still funny.
Yeah.
It really was funny
Yeah.
when he was doing that because it's like it looks so goofy. But hey, you're LeBron James, so I'm not
Right.
gonna hate in that scenario.
Right.
You know.
Right. But I don't know. I think we covered everything pretty well there.
Yeah.
You know?
One last thing I guess I will say is if you really want to max out these standards, one thing I'd say on the male end, if you can hit the 7-minute mile, if you can hit probably like up to 12 to 15 pull-ups, and if you can hit probably 40 to 50 push-ups, that's like very high range of all this
Absolutely,
stuff. Like
yeah.
if you're able to do all that stuff, that puts you in a different category a lot
For
of times.
sure.
Now, one thing I'll see a lot from other coaches and whatnot, you know, they'll say, okay, benefits probably stop at this point. The ones I just listed for men, a lot of the times, if you go anything past that, you're not going to get any specific special benefit from going past that.
Maybe mentally though.
But mentally, that's exactly what I was going to say. Because again, you know, does Brock being able to squat 800 pounds give him any extra benefit than strength?
Right.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But
at this point, probably not though.
but
you know?
his mental, you
Right.
get under 800 pounds on a bar, that's mentally challenging.
Yeah.
Just like if you're able to do a 7-minute mile or that 40 to 50 push-ups, those last 10 push-ups, those last 2 to 3 pull-ups are going to be really hard and it's
Yeah.
going to be mentally challenging. So you start going past that, that's when you start really pushing yourself mentally at that point in time.
Right.
Like there are physical standards that you should hit, but at some point in time, it does end up being more of a mental gain. You can get the physical
Absolutely.
benefits out of it 100%. You can
Yeah.
get the bone density gains. You can get the muscle mass gains. You can get the body fat lowering, all that type of stuff.
Cardiovascular health
Right.
will get better. Yeah.
But a lot of that, once you get past a certain point, again, there's no specific numbers and we're not going to say that because research studies are going to be all over the place with that
Sure.
anyways.
It's very person to person. there
Exactly.
also.
So but you're going to get probably 80 to 90 or not more percent benefits mentally out of that instead at that certain point when you pass it, which is awesome because again, that's putting you physically in a 1% category or past once you get past those certain levels.
Yes.
And for females, again, probably around the 8:30 to 9-minute mile mark, probably around the 5+ push-ups 5+ pull-ups, and then push-ups probably 15 to 20 plus. Yeah. That puts you in a really high category for females.
Absolutely.
As well. Yeah.
And for you males, you know, he just kind of mentioned like some higher standards to reach for. If you want to be like in the upper echelon, like where we're at, like what you and I do,
no big deal.
You know, you're running like a 90-second mile.
Stop the cap.
You know, you're doing like 150 straight pull-ups. You know, nothing too crazy there. And
you're running 600 milligrams of tren.
Well, and 500 push-ups straight.
Yep.
I mean, it's you know, that's obviously upper echelon.
500 push-ups straight.
Yeah, you know, without stopping.
Yeah,
it's
right.
But that takes time.
Were you saying upper? I thought that was the minimum standard. Like you said in the Knights table, you said, well, of course, it's simple. You have to run, 100 miles. You know,
well, that's just for being a man.
Yeah,
okay.
you have to be,
so this is something
be an
different.
ultramarathoner.
This is completely different.
Okay,
in every way.
Just making sure we're clear.
Pay attention, Money Mitch.
Okay.
So
you have to be an ultramarathoner, right? Yeah.
Again, that's all just for being a man,
right?
Though. You know, this is just the traditional fitness standards. You know, the typical 90-second mile. Like it's
typical.
Yeah.
What
I don't know. I don't know what the reactions from you guys is for. I don't know what that's about, but
yeah. So you have to be a superhero.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess
Captain America is the minimum standard for fitness.
I guess that's what I'll call myself then. Superhero.
This guy's just different.
Jokes.
Do not actually try to follow those standards, please.
Bro, if you can run a 90-second mile, like, I'll give you a high five.
Then no, I need to see what you have. A little super serum under the table. If you're able to run a 90-second mile, I need to get a hold of that.
We need a drug test.
Yeah. He's definitely natty, bro.
Well, for sure.
It's like all the influencers who are just, their delts look like literal moons on their shoulders, and they're like, bro, I'm natural. I'm 20 years old and I'm natural.
It's like, sure you are. Buddy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then you ask him to play basketball, and he looks like literally like...
Looks like you.
No, he looks like me.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I'm ass at basketball.
It's all right. You guys would skate circles forwards and backwards around me on the ice.
We still need to go skating, actually, for that matter.
Yeah, we could hold hands.
I thought that was like a Christmas time thing.
I was more so thinking one of those little
Yeah.
push carts that you put on the ice.
Push cart? I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's like the helper. It literally looks like
a walker?
It looks like a walker on the ice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have Warts run one of those.
Little do you know I'm an athlete.
Get you some training wheels for the ice.
That's the tricycle version of like ice skating. Yeah.
Mitch, step into the batter's box. I'll pitch to you, buddy.
No, I'm not doing that one. Not again.
I was watching the Twins game last night.
Yeah.
And whoever the pitcher was, I forget his name.
Sonny Gray.
Dude's throwing 102 consistently.
Johan Duran.
Yeah, like what the?
Yeah. Last pitch of the game, 101. It's just like, oh my gosh.
That's minimum.
That's from 60 feet, 6 inches away.
That's minimum for pitchers, right?
Oh, yeah. He's at the bottom level.
Minimum standards.
Yeah. Lower percentile for velocity there. No, isn't that wild, though? 101.
That's so difficult to comprehend because I don't know if I've said this on the pod before, but again, you were pitching me at like 80, 85 maybe or something
Not
like
85, probably 80 at most at that time.
Either way,
Yeah.
and I was pissing my pants. It was terrifying. I can't even imagine seeing a 102-mile-per-hour ball come
Dude,
at me.
it's unbelievable.
I mean, I'd have to be literally on the Padres and in their brown pants.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would not go well for me.
That was so fun.
Yeah, I know baseball teams.
I feel like at that point, you just like close your eyes and just swing and
just hope for the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend closing your eyes, but
unless you want to take one to the dome.
there is an element of guessing involved. Now,
crazy.
When I was playing college ball, we had guys that were consistently 90 to 93, which was the first time I consistently saw that. We had a guy that could reach back and touch 95, 96. And it's insane. I mean, it is crazy. Now, I will say this. The more and more you see it, the more and more you're used to it. Now, I've never seen 100 plus, and that's a whole different level. However, like the 90 to 95 range, still incredibly fast. So it's
adaptation.
Absolutely.
As of anything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I coach 13U, so Sometimes we'll see guys that reach back and throw 75 or something
Wow.
like that, you know? Yeah, and that's
Impressive.
top level for like where we're at. And there's a few guys that are literally touching 80 already.
Jeez.
Not that we see, but you know, my guys, they always get so worried that he's throwing hard. And it's like, guys, take your normal at bat, see a pitch. You're going to realize that you can get on time just fine. And when they're throwing harder, if you make contact, it's going to go farther. You're going to hit it harder. You know, that's just how it works. So use their power to your advantage. That's the thing you got to do. You
Love
know?
that.
But anyway, could talk baseball all night long here.
Yeah,
But,
true.
guys, at the end of all of our episodes, Money Mitch, our wonderful, beautiful, very smart,
handsome, yeah,
sexy producer asks us a Q&A question that is submitted by you guys, the listeners or the viewers. There's a few different ways that we want you guys to submit these questions to us. Number one, you can DM them to us on Instagram at untapped.llp. You can also DM them to us individually if you would rather do that. You can email them to us at extricationfitness.com or at gmail.com. extricationfitness@gmail.com. There's also an email button in our bio on Instagram or on the YouTube videos. You guys can put the questions in the comments, and we will also give them to Money Mitch then. On that note, go to YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff, okay? On our Instagram posts, we post a lot of clips every week from our episodes, usually 2 to 3.
Yep.
Funny ones, good informational ones, good mindset type clips, we always post good clips from these episodes. Interact with the post, guys. Give it a comment, share it to your stories. All free things that really, really help us grow. They get us into more people's algorithms. And the more eyes that we have on us, the more listeners we get, the more followers we get, the more we get to bring better and better episodes to you guys, get better guests, everything that comes along with that. So, guys, please interact with our posts. Share the podcast episodes to your stories as well from Spotify and Apple Music. Take a picture of your computer screen if you're a YouTube viewer. It really, really helps us grow.
One thing too, we're even on Twitter/X, guys. So if you want to reply to tweets and whatnot with that type of stuff, that's a great way to interact with us too.
Yeah.
We'll be pumping out more stuff on there as well. We talk basically any of our formats are open game on the tweets on that and whatnot.
Yeah.
Same with our personals and whatnot too. So yeah.
Anyway, Money Mitch, do you think?
Is there like a threshold when you start investing in equipment as to what physical activity you're doing? I'm asking this question because I literally just bought my first pair of like dedicated running shoes less than a month ago, simply because I felt like I could actually use them properly. Is it, it doesn't have to be running. It could be, do I buy a weight belt at a certain point? Do I buy whatever the Nike like lifting shoes are with like the heels and stuff like that?
Noble has stuff like that as well.
What's the threshold when you start investing into
great question
equipment outside of just working out?
Yeah,
because that stuff can help.
Absolutely. And so this question's not necessarily just price either.
No,
never spend more than $200 on a pair of shoes. Like,
no, I think if you're invested in whatever the activity is enough, your price won't necessarily be.
It can be justified.
Yes, definitely, especially when it comes to health stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually really like this question because supplements could also go into this discussion. Supplements, especially when you use quality companies like First Form or Carbon Fire or Advanced Molecular Labs, like we use all three of those. Evogen's another one. Yeah, Gorilla has a lot of good products as well. So. Those are some of the brands that we use, guys, for our different supplements. We've chosen those brands because we believe that they are the highest quality, meaning they're going to be a little bit more expensive than your crappy GNC shit. Yeah, I said it.
I was about to call somebody. I was about to call somebody out, and then I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna do that."
So that can go into this discussion too. But first, with equipment. So I think what I'm going to use is my personal experience with walks, which I've now turned into rucks. The first time we did 75 hard, we did actually do. This is ridiculous.
Backpacks.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we just started walking.
Yes.
And then we were like, okay, like we're going, X amount of distance, but what 75 hard does to you, you're like, all right, how can I make this harder? I got to challenge myself more.
Especially if you're doing it right. Yeah.
100%. So we figured out what rucking was. So what we did, and we've told this story a couple times, guys, but we took backpacks and we threw basically smaller plates.
Basically like Amazon weights.
Yeah.
Yeah. In it. Yeah.
Into the backpacks. No formal stacking. Just tossed them in there and put the backpack on.
You just threw it in there.
It was so weird to me, dude. You know, every time we get back from a ruck, like our backs would hurt, lower backs would hurt. And
I never understood that.
Yeah. It made
the
no
biomechanics,
sense.
that made no sense at all.
It made no sense. It's like, you know, it's just weight in a backpack that's pulling against you, you know?
That's sitting on your lower back,
Literally.
your lumbar spine.
Literally.
Dragging on
nothing up top. It's all centered right there on the lower back. And,
so it made no
listen,
sense why we were hurt from
Listen, it was the resource we had available to us.
Right.
And we made it work.
Right.
Is it the most ideal? Is it the most efficient? Far from it. Okay. So then what did we do? We invested in nicer ruck vests, you know, weighted vests. That was what I was trying to say there. Weighted vests. We found a good brand on Amazon, and, you know, it had different weight options and all this other stuff. And to this day, we both still use them all the time.
Yep.
For a number of different
Cross 101.
Cross 101. Yeah, I
that's
think they
free
have,
game too.
They have an 80, a 60, a 40, and a 20, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's right.
Might be, or is it 25, 45, 65?
No, it's 20, 40, 60, 80.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. So tons of different options, guys, for the weights, which is awesome. And the nice thing is you don't have to buy plates separate from the plate carrier.
That's where the money really gets
This is
into
all
it.
weighted by sand. And it fits really well. Velcro.
Microfactor type things that First Form has. You can go,
Which is just a multivitamin.
exactly.
Yeah.
You can go like if you want like test boosters and whatnot. But again, or like a fat burner. But again, don't expect these to be a magic pill.
Sure.
The only magic pill is PEDs, performance enhancing drugs.
Even
or
still, you
anabolics.
got to work for it.
Even still,
know?
you have to work for it. Now, you know, if you're good on PEDs, there's research out where like the first probably 4 to 8 weeks, you'll see a lot of results if you did nothing. So if somebody just sat around and did nothing, you see a lot of results. Past that, it's questionable after that point in time.
Right.
You won't get the same results. But those are going to be magic pills if you're working out with, you know, something like anabolics or steroids and whatnot.
Yeah.
But something like a fat burner or a booster and whatnot, those will just be that little extra edge you might want and maintain testosterone, because men's testosterone is just consistently dropping the last 40 plus years now or so. So if you want to optimize that. So really what it comes down to is like starting out with the basic stuff, like the running shoes. That's pretty basic. If you're going to start running consistently, I think that's pretty basic.
Yeah.
Protein and creatine are basic supplements you want to start out with. Equipment wise, wrist wraps are something you could definitely start out with. But honestly, with wrist wraps, I wouldn't say they're not necessary unless you get past like 300 plus pounds on some of your movements, like deadlifts and whatnot.
You don't want to rely on those.
Exactly. You want your grip strength to be strong, because grip strength is actually a really big indicator for longevity long term as well.
It is.
Like just grip strength by itself.
And grip strength applies to way more than just the gym. Let's say you're doing a home project and you're carrying a bunch of wood, or,
6x6 is whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that comes into play there. So without a doubt.
Definitely. As for the weight belt, I was going to say too, weight belts are one of those things where, again, you shouldn't rely on them, in my opinion.
You mean like not like for dips or pull-ups?
No,
you're
not
talking
like that.
about a what's that? It's
I don't.
there's like leather belts.
Yeah, there's leather belts. There's latch-on belts. That type of stuff they use for. You'll see people doing them for deadlifts or squats a lot of times. That's pretty common.
You'll also see people wearing it for like curls,
or just wearing it around the gym. It's like a piece of like attire, or like apparel or something like that. It's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, take that off.
Piece of attire. It's funny though. As funny as that is, it's very true.
They'll be doing some hypertrophy incline bench curls, and they have a belt on.
Yeah,
bro, what are you doing?
It's like, why is your back that unstable?
Yeah. Now, again, Wart's mentioned a weight belt, like holding weight for pull-ups and dips, like weighted dips. That's different than a weight belt of what we're talking about for a squat,
like a
deadlift.
support belt, basically, is what we're talking here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like that, it basically helps simulate what's called IAP, or intra-abdominal pressure, which is your ability to actually create stability in your core.
Yeah, like the Valsalva maneuver.
Exactly.
Would be the way to do that.
You should have your own core be doing most of the work.
Yes.
I mean, again, Brock puts up 800 pounds and he doesn't wear a belt.
Right.
Because his core is developed so much to that point where he does, like, again, if you're a power lifter, sure, whatever, I guess, but do they even wear belts? Can they wear belts during competition?
Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, they probably can.
I think they do.
So it can help, but if you don't have that IAP down without the belt, you're going to hurt yourself.
Especially those of you just starting.
Yeah.
Develop that foundation. It goes into exactly what we talked about earlier in this episode. Develop that foundation first of your body weight, learning how your body works, moves, how it feels. Develop that first before you get any equipment. Same thing with the wrist wraps or wrist straps, because there is a difference.
Yep.
But don't rely on those things. The only time, like when I'm on a program that incorporates deadlifts, the only time I might get my straps out is 315 or higher. Might. Anything and there's even plenty of times I'm at 315 and I'm not using them because I'm using that grip strength. I got to be able to have that.
Strong enough. Yeah, the form is strong enough. Yeah.
Now, sometimes if there's multiple sets at that type of weight, my hands will start like literally bleeding and stuff.
That's like the Joe D programs we used to do. Joe Donnelly.
Dude,
oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Like 10 sets of deadlifts, pull-ups, and shrugs. And what the hell? What are we doing,
dude?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. But you don't want to become dependent on any of this, but especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
Use them for the tool that they are, the aid that they are when you get to that point. Now, the original question was, what was the threshold? I think, especially for things like a weighted vest, whenever you realize that just walking is not challenging you, Another way that you can challenge yourself more on a walk is try to increase your walking pace and or go a farther distance. But like when you realize it's too easy to walk 3 miles, okay, get a weighted vest then. Start at 20 pounds if you want. Start at 40 pounds like we did. That 3 miles suddenly isn't as easy. If you're...
Our shoulders would agree with that.
Yeah, no kidding. If you're flying through that minimum 10 pull-ups that we said earlier, okay, get a weight belt.
Yep.
It's
time to add 10, 20 pounds to your pull-ups and whatnot.
A lot of gyms are going to have that, so you may not even have to buy it.
Sure.
For your push-ups, okay, do band-resisted push-ups. Wrap it around your back, put your hands through the band, and do push-ups. Or put a plate on your back, or elevate your feet like we mentioned earlier. So whenever you get to the point that it's not challenging you enough, or you feel it's not challenging you enough, that's when you can start adding things. For the running shoes, what I would say is if you are repeatedly having ankle pain, knee pain, shin splints, things like that, first of all, roll out and or stretch more before or after.
Yep.
Roll out before you run, stretch after. Please don't stretch beforehand. But that could be an indication like, okay, I need new shoes. I need better shoes. Maybe these are worn. Maybe these aren't meant for running. You know, that kind of consistent ground impact, you know, that running would have. So maybe it's time to get running shoes, you know? So it's whenever you get to that point, and you'll know it. Would you agree with that?
No, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll get to a point where it's like, okay, I probably could use a weight belt at this point in time. Like that's when you get past that 315. You might think about it sometimes. Like, but again, for the most part, you and I really don't even use a weight belt.
I have one, but deadlifting, I used to rely on it. I'd be, oh wow, I got 315. Like that's when everyone puts the belt on, so I'll put the belt on. Well, then I stopped using it, and I'm like, damn, I don't need that. Yeah. Mostly because I feel like I've mastered the Valsalva maneuver.
Yeah.
And the IAP like you talked about. But I found myself becoming reliant on that. Or even the straps. You know, my first set of a plate on each side, I would put the wraps on. And it's just like, what are we doing here?
My thought process of the straps and the weight belt is unless you're competing in powerlifting, you shouldn't really rely on those at all.
You're probably going too heavy then.
Yeah. Because in powerlifting, obviously your total is the most important thing. And you know, how much weight you can move.
Sure.
And actually go through the full rep is the most important thing. But with the regular person, I think your abdominal strength and your grip strength are going to be much more important.
Yes.
And your totals are going to be lower, naturally. But then you're going to start developing it, and then your totals will go back up.
Exactly.
So it's going to be fine.
Exactly.
So, yeah, is there a baseline? 100%. But it's definitely a reliance thing at some point in time when you come to those things. Now, if you guys are seeing new products that are out in the gym, this is one thing I want to point out. Like, for example, waist trainers.
Ugh.
Absolute, complete bullshit. Something like that. Like, or like the machines that simulate you doing 30,000 crunches, you know, and you just wrap it around your waist and it like that just stimulates your abs. No.
Right.
No.
Remember shake weights?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, because they're moving more, they're less stable, you're going to develop, you know, those little micro muscles and whatnot. You might not be hitting usually. Bullshit.
Right.
So if you guys see those products coming out and you have questions about them, hey, does this waist trainer work? Send that to us or check with somebody that you trust that is a professional in the fitness industry.
Right.
And ask them, is this bullshit or not? Because you shouldn't be using a product unless you've double checked it with somebody you actually trust.
Yep.
Like real talk.
Without a doubt.
And that doesn't include your 30% body fat trainer at your gym. Like, he's not a fitness professional. Just hate to tell you that
he's just not. He might be a fitness professional, but he's not someone you should trust.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
He might have went through the full grad degree or whatnot, but you know, if he's struggling to keep those
if
50
he can't do an
extra
8-minute
pounds
mile,
off.
10 pull-ups, and 30 push-ups, get a new trainer.
You might have been
higher
your
untapped.
hands.
Yeah, that's right.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. That is going to be Season 3, Episode 27. Again, please share the show. We named all the different ways for you guys to help support us, so please do those things for us. Guys, we will see you soon. Until next time, peace and love.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.